I'm blind, my name is Ruqaiya, and I'm also an artist and disability advocate. And today I'm going to talk to you about misconceptions about guide dogs. Sitting on my lap in harness is my guide dog Bertie. So before I talk about misconceptions about guide dogs and all the fun stereotypes, I thought I'd quickly introduce my guide dog Bertie. So he's a golden retriever. He's a very gingery gold colour, and I've been told on multiple occasions that he's very handsome. He's currently sitting on my lap in harness and we're sitting on the floor. He's also 4 years old. He turned 4 this year on the 11th of June 2025. Oh, and he's just a very happy boy. I've had him for about 2 years now, or just over 2 years now. He's my first ever guide dog, and I genuinely don't know what I'd do without him. The good thing about guide dogs is that they just absolutely love their job. Whenever he sticks on his harness, he's just so proud of himself. He just wiggles and waggles his tail and has a massive smile on his face. GPS. So something a lot of people believe is that guide dogs are GPS systems, but that is really not the case. It's very much a partnership. Me and Bertie work together. So I like to describe it as I tell him where to go and he gets me there safely. So the way a guide dog typically works is you direct them, and for example, I'd say, oh, straight on, find the curb. Then I'm counting curbs in my head. I'll be, okay, we're at the first curb. Now I need to turn left on my route. And then I'm like, okay, we've hit the next curb, I need to cross over the road. So it's very much, I remember like a mental map or a list of instructions on my routes that I instruct Bertie and he follows them. Obviously after a period of time he probably knows where he's going, but again, it's just very much a partnership and we work off each other. It's not, unfortunately he's not a GPS system. He doesn't know 100% of the time where he's going. A 10-minute journey. So to bring more awareness to how guide dogs aren't GPS systems, I actually created a piece of artwork called a 10-minute journey. I'll try and put it up on screen right now. And it's basically the list of instructions I tell my guide dog Bertie on a daily basis on a very regular route we do. And it just breaks up the mental energy it takes, because a lot of people don't realise how mentally taxing it can be owning a guide dog, or just travelling when you're visually impaired, needing to remember all the little nuances of your route, where to turn, where to cross, all this and that, needing to feel the floor, whether there's a crossing, whether there's a little step. There's a lot to it, and I feel like this is a piece of artwork that really describes, okay, how my brain sort of works. So just to audio describe the piece a little bit, it's a long list of instructions on the wall spanning from the ceiling to the floor, and it's very poetic. So it gives all of the, I guess, instructions that I give my guide dog Bertie. So it's very repetitive. It says straight on, find the curb, straight on, find the crossing, to the left, to the right. It's very, very directional, because that's how me and my guide dog Bertie work together. And I really like how it's from floor to ceiling, because I want people to be able to see the mental toll it takes sometimes just traveling. And I mean, at least this is supposed to be a 10-minute journey, but it never is for me and Bertie, because it does take a lot longer traveling, and there's a lot more you need to consider in a route as well. You can't just go from A to B in like no time. There is a lot more to consider, unfortunately, but we get it done. Distracting a guide dog. So another major misconception I want to talk about is what distracting a guide dog really means, because a lot of people think it's just patting a dog or petting a dog, which just isn't the case. It can be anything that actually distracts a guide dog or a working dog off their task. So that could be intensive eye contact, it could be kissy faces, or just talking to the dog, anything that gets their attention. Because there's been multiple times when me and Bertie are out and about, and there have been people saying, don't worry, I won't distract your dog, and they proceed to talk to Bertie, make kissy faces and noises, which is awfully distracting for him, especially since he's my pair of eyes and he needs to be focused. He's absolutely brilliant at ignoring it as much as possible, but people don't always make it very easy. So please just remember that distracting a guide dog doesn't just mean petting a dog, it means getting their focus off their job or off their owner. I'm very happy if people want to ask to pet Bertie, that's no issue at all. Just don't expect a yes. I feel like that's to say for everything. Asking, not assuming, that's really important. Feeding guide dogs. Please, when we're out and about, do not feed a guide dog without their owner's permission. One, because lots of foods are quite toxic to dogs. You don't know what certain things have been cooked in, and so on. Also, because these are working dogs, so you want them to settle in places like restaurants and cafes. You don't want them to be begging all the time for food or jumping up on tables, because obviously they need to be well behaved to be able to actually guide me to places, sit calmly and enjoy themselves and not get in the way. Another thing that I wanted to mention is recently I was in the park, so guide dogs get plenty of time to just run around in the park like any other dog. Bertie just in the park having a good time. Oh, Bert, where are you going? Where are you going? Oh, okay, Bertie needed a break. Very nice, Bert. Good boy. So Bertie just needed to readjust. Are you happy now? So now he's laying on the floor with his chin in my lap. Oh, no, now he has a scratch. We'll wait a minute. Situation that happened recently is where me and Bertie were out in the park, just like any other dogs. Guide dogs get their free time, their off time, and they go run around and play in the park. So we were just out in the park and Bertie was enjoying himself, and so without asking permission, another dog owner had fed Bertie, which, you know, I don't think anyone should feed anybody's dog without permission, for starters, especially not a working dog or a service dog. I feel like it's really bad for recall, which brings me on to my next point. So obviously golden retrievers are very, very food driven, just like many other dogs. So what was happening was, ever since that owner fed Bertie without permission, Bertie kept going up to everyone who had food in that dog park and was just like, so are you going to feed me? And unfortunately, like, that just should not happen. It was an error, it was a mistake, it was unfortunately a bad habit which Bertie has gotten past, but it's just to say, please just don't feed guide dogs or any other dogs without asking their owner's permission, because there are various reasons as to why that dog may or may not be able to eat something. In this particular scenario, when being in the park, it made Bertie's recall really bad. So if there was a dangerous situation, like an aggressive dog, and I had to call Bertie back, but he thought that other owner had dog treats, it would be really difficult for him to come back. So it's really important to always ask the owner first before doing or saying something. Storybook about Bertie. Something else that I'm in the process of currently is actually writing a children's book about my guide dog Bertie. So I've actually got the first draft of it here with me. So it's called Bertie the Guide Dog, and it's all about what a guide dog is, why not to distract a guide dog, as well as general awareness. So this is something I'm in the middle of trying to get published and just finalised. Along with it, I've also written a story about my cane. It's My Cane, My Story, and it also goes over using a white cane, the embarrassment that I used to feel and how I overcame it and started to be a bit more confident while going out and about. So yeah, it's just to bring more awareness to both these mobility aids. And these are both works in progress, and once they're out and published, I will keep you guys updated. Cass Art Prize. So another thing I wanted to talk about was the trust and the bond between a guide dog and their owner. I genuinely don't know what I would have done without Bertie. As I told you, I've had him for 2 years now, so it feels like it's been a while, but it also feels like I just got him yesterday. I absolutely love having him, and I really don't know what I'd do without him. He's had so much positive impact on my life and my independence. So I created an artwork last year titled Communication with My Guide Dog. It's a wall installation made out of monoprints depicting Bertie's paws. On the wall, it's outlined as the shape of his harness, and in the centre is a braille piece of black card, which is a poem about the trust and communication me and Bertie both share, as he's my pair of eyes. I don't know if it'll come on camera, but on the centre of Bertie's guide dog harness is a sign that says, please don't distract me, I'm a working guide dog. And I took inspiration from that, and I wrote a poem on how Bertie is my eyes and the trust we have. I'm really delighted to say that I won an award for this installation, and I really just wanted to show and bring more awareness to the trust that me and Bertie have. Like, he genuinely is my pair of eyes, and I can feel his body language through the harness, whether he's speeding up, slowing down, or stopping from an obstacle. Thank you so much for watching this video and learning a bit more about misconceptions around guide dogs. We talked about why they're not GPS systems, why not to distract them, why not to feed them, and a few other bits and bobs related to my artwork. I really hope you enjoyed watching this video and learning about guide dogs. Hopefully I'll catch you in the next video.